The grand chamber of the Andromedan Alliance's capital station pulsed with cold light, its walls shimmering like liquid crystal under the gaze of countless stars. Alien dignitaries from dozens of species had gathered, each draped in exotic armors and regal silks that whispered of ages and empires far older than humanity's brief history. At the heart of the gleaming hall stood a raised platform where the Earth's delegation was to speak, a small group of humans in stark, functional military garb that seemed almost out of place amid the opulence. Laughter echoed through the chamber, like shards of ice breaking on stone. "Primitive savages," hissed the tall Zalcor ambassador, his many eyes narrowing with disdain. "Their weapons are relics, their history a childish fable. Why do we even dignify their presence?" Across the hall, other species snickered. The humans held their ground, their faces steeled against the torrent of mockery. At the center of the delegation, Ambassador Kaela Harchi's eyes burned with defiance. She was used to this. The galaxy's elite had mocked Earth's rise for centuries, humanity's rapid technological growth dismissed as lucky accidents, their fierce determination labeled reckless desperation. But today was different. In the shadows beyond the grand stage, Dr. Elias Voss, the human scientist, and the delegation's secret weapon, stood watching. His fingers brushed the concealed device hidden beneath his cloak, an ancient artifact recovered from a forgotten star system, humming with dormant power. No one here knew what it could do, and that was exactly how he wanted it. "Your threats are meaningless," Kayla said, her voice calm but still edged. "Humanity is not to be underestimated. We have survived what others could not, and rebuilt, stronger than before." Another wave of derisive laughter followed. The youngest Salcor counselor stepped forward, venom in his voice. "Your strength is a fleeting flame against the infinite dark. You speak of survival, but your world is a backwater, a relic destined to be crushed underfoot." Kella's jaw tightened, but she did not back down. "Then we hope you're listening," she said quietly. "Because silence is the only warning you will get." The chamber fell into a stunned hush. A warning from the humans. Ridiculous. Yet, as the alien eyes searched Kella's face, a flicker of something perhaps unease passed over them. In the observation gallery, hidden from view, Dr. Voss's eyes gleamed with cold calculation. He knew the galaxy's arrogance well. It blinded them. They mocked humanity once more, and soon, silence would be all that remained to warn them. The mockery was more than just words. It was the galaxy's way of dismissing a growing storm. For decades, strange signals had echoed from the edges of human space, whispers of ancient power awakening beneath the stars. But no one took those whispers seriously. Now, as the summit drew to a close, the humans slipped away quietly, their faces unreadable, their intentions concealed behind calm exteriors. They left behind the laughter, the scorn, and the arrogance of countless civilizations. Out in the cold darkness beyond the station, a lone listening post pulsed with strange energy. The signals from deep space were growing stronger, coded. Warnings encrypted in frequencies no alien fleet could decipher. Earth was ready, but the galaxy was not. Deep in the endless void beyond the last known star systems, Earth's remote listening posts strained against the dark. The airless silence was broken only by the faint crackle of ancient radio waves, twisting through space like desperate whispers. Outpost Sigma 7, nestled on a jagged asteroid, orbiting a dying red dwarf. Lieutenant Myra Cade sat rigid in the observation chamber. Her eyes flicked between the glowing holomap and the blaring alerts on her console. The signalin, eerie, rhythmic pulse had grown stronger overnight. Yet no one on the Galactic Council cared to listen. "Another one?" Mira muttered under her breath. Her fingers danced over the controls, isolating the source, a distant sector, shrouded in darkness, far beyond the civilized borders. The coded pattern was unmistakable, ancient human encryption. Layered with quantum scrambling, no alien tech had cracked yet. Outside the viewport, The asteroid's cracked surface shimmered faintly in the sickly red light of the dwarf star. The hum of the station's power core was the only comfort in the cold silence. "Send it to command," she ordered, but her message was met with static. The Galactic Council's transmissions, usually swift and omnipresent, were strangely silent. It was as if someone or something was already jamming their communications. A cold dread crept over Mira suddenly. The signal spiked. It wasn't just a warning, it was a plea. Distress call. Encrypted. ... From Sector 9 Alpha. Repeat. Distress call. The station's AI repeated the phrase in a monotone voice. Mira's heart pounded as she attempted to decode the message. Further, the transmission was abruptly cut off, swallowed by a burst of static that rippled through the comms like a wave of shadow. "Lost it," she whispered. In the control room behind her, a small group of alien technicians exchanged nervous glances. They'd scoffed at humanity for years, primitive, stubborn Earthlings who refused to bow to the galactic order. Now, they faced the chilling reality, a danger lurking in the dark, hinted at only by these fragmented signals. Elsewhere, hidden from all eyes, Dr. Elias Voss observed the same signal from Earth's orbital station. His fingers traced patterns on a glowing map, aligning the coordinates with data from the ancient artifact he'd retrieved. The pulse was growing louder, a sign that whatever had been dormant was awakening. Voss knew this was no coincidence. "They mocked us," he said, softly, voice barely audible over the hum of the station. "They never believed the warnings. But now, the silence will be their undoing." Back at Sigma 7, Myra's scanner detected movement shadows shifting beyond the sensor range. Something was coming. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the station's systems hiccuped under an unseen assault. The temperature dropped sharply. The asteroid trembled, as if something massive stirred beneath its surface. "Brace for impact." Mira shouted, but it was too late. The station was engulfed in darkness. The void was empty. Or so it seemed. Fleet Admiral Rillock stood on the bridge of the flagship Celestial Vengeance, staring at the holographic star map flickering before him. Entire squadrons had vanished, disintegrated without a trace. The border of human space. No distress calls, no debris fields, no signs of battle. Just silence. "Where are they?" Rillock demanded, voice low and tense. His reptilian eyes darted across the bridge, searching for answers in the worried faces of his officers. Captain H'Azor shook his head. "We don't know, Admiral. The last fleet was lost 3 days ago. Then the communications went dark. It's as if they were swallowed by the void itself." A cold shiver crawled down Rillock's spine. Outside the viewport, the endless stars twinkled, indifferent to the fate of empires. The Celestial Vengeance drifted near the edge of a swirling nebula, a ghostly swirl of cosmic gases and shadow. Human forces were nearby, but oddly silent. "Report any sensor anomalies," Rillock ordered. "Scan for anything, energy signatures, radiation spikes, life signs." The sensors beeped, then stuttered. "All clear, Admiral. No signs of conventional weapons or engines." "Impossible," Rillock muttered. "Entire fleets don't vanish without a fight." A sudden alarm pierced the tension. The ship's AI announced, "Unknown object detected, approaching rapidly from the nebula." The bridge plunged into chaos as unidentified shadows slipped through the sensor range. No shape, no heat signature, just a cold emptiness. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers," Rillock barked. But it was too late. The Celestial Vengeance trembled violently as an unseen force slammed into the ship's hull. The bridge lights flickered and died, swallowed by a sudden darkness. "Emergency power," Rillock yelled, struggling to maintain control. Through the murky shadows, the crew glimpsed a figure, cloaked, indistinct, almost part of the void itself, standing silently among them. "Report," Rillock demanded, but his voice echoed hollowly. The figure's presence chilled the room. No one could explain how it had boarded the ship, or what it wanted. On the edge of human space, an eerie silence began to spread. Alien commanders scrambled to send reinforcements, but fleets disappeared, one by one, erased, like whispers in a gale. Unknown to them, hidden deep within the shadows, the human forces watched and waited. Their silence was no surrender. It was a warning in a hidden command center beneath Earth's surface. Dr. Elias Voss studied the data streaming in from the lost fleets. His eyes gleamed with grim satisfaction. "They mocked us once more," he said softly. "And now, the silence will teach them respect." In the swirling mists of the nebula Nix 9, darkness moved like a predator stalking its prey. Cloaked in shadows, a fleet of sleek black ships slipped silently through the glowing clouds of gas and ionized particles, invisible to all but the most advanced sensors. Commander Jacques Rilland stood on the bridge of the lead vessel, the silent fang eyes fixed on the holomap flickering before him. This was no ordinary mission. It was a reckoning. "Target acquired," Jacques whispered, voice barely audible over the hum of the engines. "Prepare weapons. Strike on my command." The target, a sprawling alien colony, a jewel of the Andromedan Alliance's outer rim, once full of life and laughter, now about to become a ghost town. Suddenly, alarms blared across the bridge. Incoming, hostile fighters detected, but Jacques knew better. The enemy fighters scrambled toward empty space. His fleet moved like shadows, dissolving before the first shots could reach them. Then, like lightning slicing through a storm, the attack began. Silent beams of energy tore through the colony's defenses, cutting communication towers and power grids in a blink. Explosions blossomed across the surface, fiery flowers blooming in the alien night. The invaders vanished as quickly as they appeared, leaving no tracing, no prisoners, no survivors. Back on the alien command station, chaos erupted. Panic spread like wildfire among the leaders who had once mocked humanity's feeble attempts at war. "How is this possible?" hissed High Commander Lorvin, his hands trembling over the command console. "Their weapons, their tactics. It's as if they're ghosts." In a secret chamber on Earth, Dr. Elias Voss smiled grimly. The ancient artifact lay glowing on the table, pulsating with power. "This is just the beginning," he said quietly. "The galaxy will learn what humanity truly is, not relics, but hunters awakened from a long sleep." Meanwhile, the fleet scrambled to respond, but their fleets were scattered, their communications fractured by the suddenness of the attack. Across the stars, fear began to replace mockery. The arrogance that had blinded the galaxy was cracking. The galaxy fell into a haunting silence. On board the Eclipse Sovereign, flagship of the Andromedan fleet, Captain Veshra stared at the darkened panels. Every channel was dead. The vibrant pulse of interstellar chatter, once a symphony of orders and strategy, had vanished, swallowed whole by an unseen void. Her claws twitched nervously. "What happened to the grids?" "Report." The communications officer's voice was tense. "All networks are offline, Captain. No signals. In or out. It's as if the entire system has been erased." Outside the viewport, the stars shone cold and distant. No blinking navigation beacons, no pulse of nearby fleets. Just an abyss of empty space. Fleet Admiral Relax's earlier fears echoed. In her mind, entire fleets vanished without a trace. No wreckage, no survivors, only an eerie void where they once were. Veshra swallowed hard. Could this be the work of those humans? Her officer hesitated, then nodded. Their silence is unsettling. Earth hasn't responded to any messages since the ghost strike. It's as if they've withdrawn entirely. The room filled with a chilling quiet. Across human space, deep within Earth's command center, the atmosphere was tense, but controlled. Dr. Elias Voss monitored the cascade of blackouts, spreading through the galaxy's communication networks. His lips curled in a grim smile. Silence, he muttered. The deadliest warning of all. On the other side of the void, alien spies tried desperately to breach Earth's encrypted transmissions. But the humans' silence was more than just absence. It was a carefully woven shield. Suddenly, the silence was broken by a single, haunting pulse, a low-frequency broadcast emanating from Earth, traveling across the stars like a heartbeat. In the darkness, fleet commanders intercepted it, eyes wide with dread. The message was simple. We warned you. Now you listen. Panic rippled through the Galactic Alliance. They realized the humans had not only survived, they had evolved beyond comprehension. Their silence was no surrender. It was a statement. On the Eclipse Sovereign, Veshra made a decision. Prepare to move. If Earth chooses this moment to speak, we must be ready. But as the ship powered up, the abyss seemed to close in tighter. Systems flickered, engines stuttered. The void was alive, swallowing fleets, drowning hope. Outside, dark shadows shifted, unseen but felt, a cosmic predator stalking its prey. Beneath Earth's swirling storms, deep inside the sprawling subterranean complex known as the Nexus, the hum of activity was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Here, humans and aliens once dismissed as insignificant gathered united by necessity, bound by survival. Commander Jox Rillen walked through the vast war room, eyes sharp as holographic maps flickered above the crowded tables. Alien allies from worlds long oppressed by the Andromedan Alliance stood side by side with human soldiers. Their faces were a mix of hope and hard-earned resolve. This alliance, it's unprecedented, murmured Dr. Elias Voss, watching from a shadowed alcove. The galaxy's arrogance forced them together, but this coalition will be their undoing. Jox nodded. We learned from their scorn. Now, we fight not just for Earth, but for every world silenced by fear. Outside the Nexus, storms raged, lightning casting eerie shadows on the reinforced walls. Advanced human exosuits and alien armor gleamed under harsh lights as recruits trained tirelessly, mastering new tactics, fusing technology and raw determination. Suddenly, alarms blared. The holographic map shifted, a red marker blinking urgently on the outskirts of human space. Traitor detected, a tense voice announced. The war room fell silent, eyes turned to Kayla Hart, now leading the coalition's intelligence division. Someone is leaking our plans. If this falls into enemy hands. She clenched her fists. We cannot afford betrayal. Not now. In the shadows, a figure watched unseen. A silent threat lurking within the newfound unity, poised to shatter everything. Meanwhile, on the edges of the system, alien fleets massed nervously. Rumors of Earth's secret weapons spread like wildfire. Their fear was palpable. Back inside the Nexus, Elias activated a secure console. The ancient artifact pulsed, syncing with their defense grids. This weapon isn't just technology, Elias said, eyes gleaming. It's a symbol, a warning etched in power. Jox stared at the rising coalition, a tapestry woven from scorn and survival. The galaxy mocked humanity once more, but this time, humanity answered with unity, forged in fire. The Nexus buzzed with urgency, every face etched with determination, except one. Hidden in plain sight, a shadow moved silently, weaving through the labyrinth of steel corridors. Kayla Hart's voice echoed through the command center. Security protocols at maximum. Find the leak now. Commander Jox. Ryland's jaw clenched. Trust was a fragile thread here. A single betrayal could unravel everything they'd fought to build. The betrayer's eyes gleamed cold beneath the hood of a common uniform, fingers tapping a concealed device. A covert transmission blinked to life, encrypted, untraceable. Message sent. The shadow whispered. They'll be here soon. Far from the Nexus, dark warships shifted course. Faster now, eyes fixed on the coalition's heart. The traitor had delivered the final piece, their location. Back in the war room, alarms screamed, Breach detected in sublevel 3, the AI announced. Panic rippled through the ranks. JAX grabbed Kella's arm. We've been compromised. We have to move. They raced through winding corridors as blasts tore through steel walls behind them. The traitors' sabotage was precise, crippling defenses and opening the way for an assault. Outside, the first strike erupted, shadowy vessels emerging from hyperspace, weapons blazing. The coalition scrambled to respond, but chaos reigned. Amid the firefight, Kella's eyes locked on the retreating figure of the betrayer, disappearing into the labyrinth. Rage and betrayal burned in her chest. "Find them," she ordered. "No one escapes." But the shadow vanished like a ghost, proof that not all enemies wielded weapons. Some wore faces they trusted, deep in the chaos. Dr. Elias Voss watched the unfolding storm with grim satisfaction. The betrayal had come sooner than expected, but it only sharpened the coming reckoning. "This storm will cleanse the weak," he said softly, "and reveal the strength of those who survive." The Nexus trembled under the onslaught. Explosions rocked the massive subterranean complex as sirens wailed a desperate symphony of chaos. Flames licked steel walls, and smoke twisted through the corridors like vengeful spirits. Commander Jox Rylan led the last defensive line, every breath a battle, every step a testament to human will. Around him, alien allies fought with grim determination, their faces smeared with soot and sweat but their eyes burning fierce. Above, the Shadow Fleet hung in orbit silent, waiting, hungry for the final strike. Kayla Hart's voice cut through the static. "Hold the line. Protect the artifact at all costs." Deep within the heart of the Nexus, Dr. Elias Voss stood by the ancient artifact, its eerie glow pulsing like a heartbeat in the dark. Sweat dripped down his temple, but his gaze was unyielding. "This ends tonight," he whispered. Outside a deafening silence fell, the calm before the storm. Suddenly, the surface shattered. The dark ships unleashed a wave of energy that slammed into the Nexus shields. For a moment, the complex quaked, the walls bending under the pressure. Then, a flash. The artifact flared, releasing a shockwave of pure energy that rippled through space, blinding, deafening, unstoppable. The Shadow Fleet trembled, systems failing one by one. Ships exploded in silent bursts, swallowed by a void they could not escape. Back on the bridge of the Celestial Vengeance, Admiral Rilak stared in disbelief as his flagship's systems went dark. The silence was absolute. On the ground, the surviving Coalition members watched the stars flicker and die, then burn bright once more. Kayla stepped forward, voice steady. "They mocked us once more. Now, silence is all that remains to warn them." The galaxy had been deaf to warnings for too long, but humanity's quiet strength, its unity, resilience, and relentless spirit had shattered the darkness. In the wake of the storm, a new dawn awaited, not one of conquest, but of respect earned through unyielding resolve.